Hello and welcome back to KXAN Plus. Thanks so much for joining me and happy Sunday if you're watching us live. Today we have our Tommy's travel forecast with our KXAN meteorologist Tommy House. Tommy, thanks so much for joining me. How you doing?
Esme, what's up? Hope you're having a good weekend. Our cold front moved in, so we're seeing some cooler weather today, right? And drier air and plenty of blue sky right over your shoulder. There's the Austonian camera there. So, yeah, how's your weekend so far?
It's been great. The only thing that I'm not happy with is the traffic here in Austin, but I mean,
Yeah, with all the Formula One
that's
stuff.
what
Yeah.
comes with events like Formula One. We have to prep for that and be ready. But thank gosh we have great weather, right?
Yeah, the weather's gorgeous. We want the rain, but we'll take this 80s today, highs in the 80s. It's seasonable and cool. So it's been a good second half of the weekend.
Yeah. Anything interesting happening for you this weekend?
Not much work. This is my Friday, so looking forward to getting some rest Monday, Tuesday. But just keeping an eye on the sky. We had a very limited rain chance yesterday that didn't pan out.
Didn't
But
pan out how we wanted it
it was
to
less
be.
than 10%. But some in Williamson and Milam rode in and they got some rain, but nothing in Austin.
Yeah. Well, today we are going to talk about some things that may be impacting travel for us this week. We do know that the Austin Bergstrom Airport said that they were going to have a record number
Yeah.
of travelers tomorrow
hmm
after Coda, right?
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of people flying in and out, and there's no issues for people who are flying out of Austin. But if you're flying to the East Coast, we have to watch the forecast really closely because there is a severe weather threat, at least today, tonight, and tomorrow morning for parts of the Northeast. More specifically, let's zoom on in and I'll show you the cities affected: New York City, Philadelphia, down toward Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach. You're under this level 1 out of 5 severe storm threat. This is issued for today by the Storm Prediction Center, but the storms will still stick around even into your Monday morning themselves. I'll go back to the satellite and radar here because here's what's actively happening at this hour. We're seeing a line. This cold front is dragging some heavy rain. We're talking some severe thunderstorms too down toward Virginia, parts of West Virginia. In that yellow box, that's the severe thunderstorm warning. And then some heavy rain, Buffalo up toward Cleveland, and then down toward Raleigh, North Carolina, and then even some storms down in Florida too. So if people are flying out of F1 this evening down to Tampa, you're flying into Orlando, could be getting a little bit of some delays there from these thunderstorms that are now moving through the Sunshine State. But back up to the Northeast, this is where we're going to be watching places like New York City.
More travel delays there
More
as well.
travel delays are possible tonight into tomorrow morning. Yeah, absolutely. From this cold front that will eventually work its way to this area, the Northeast and New England, by tomorrow morning. So it could get a little tricky, but for now, there's nothing too crazy. Maybe some severe weather down in the Appalachians, but it's not anything that's screaming widespread travel issues.
And you mentioned at the start of the show something about cold fronts. We know we were seeing cold fronts here locally in Austin, but what's the bigger picture? Any cold fronts anywhere else that maybe have some delays or impacts?
Yeah, so the cold front is what is bringing the rain, and that heavy rain has some gusty winds and even a low and tornado threat for places like New York City and Philadelphia. And as I walk you through the next few hours, you'll get a better idea of what's going to be coming to those same cities I mentioned. So through the afternoon and evening, you'll see along that cold front, some of these storms begin to develop a singular line. Graphics having a little bit of troubles here, so bear with me. Let's go back to that. So this is Sunday afternoon and evening. You'll see a cold front.
Whoa, sorry, my camera
No,
is
you're
going
good.
crazy.
So overnight tonight, that's where we're watching for the gusty winds and the isolated tornado threat. Along the cold front, look at the yellows, the reds. That's heavy rain. You also have gusty winds. So wind is the biggest threat on that front itself. But this is producing in the span of an hour or two up to 1 to 2 inches of rainfall through Boston early tomorrow morning into the early afternoon hours, and then through Maine by Monday afternoon and evening. So how much rain is expected? This one computer model is placing half an inch to an inch anywhere that is that lighter shade of blue. So good chunk of Massachusetts, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and then New York, Pennsylvania could see 1 to 2 inches plus. And then where you see the red, a little bit of maybe the higher elevations there, that's 2 to 4 inches of rain. So not a big washout, but those gusty winds will sure create a problem, I'm sure, for planes flying in and out. but it's not going to be, I don't want to say a huge deal, right? I mean, we'll probably see some slower flight times, Newark and LaGuardia, JFK, maybe Logan up in Boston, but this isn't going to be a huge deal compared to the nor'easter they experienced last weekend. That brought a lot more problems compared to this week.
And what about temperatures? What are they looking like for us today or into tomorrow?
Yeah, I've talked about closer to home. I mean, things are overall seasonable. Our normal high is 82 degrees this time of year, and we're currently sitting in 70s and 80s. We're going to pull up a graphic here and show you those current temperatures. We'll start with the metro area. Williamson down toward Hayes, 84 in Austin, 85 at the airport. Down toward Hayes County itself, San Marcos at 87. What we're really watching for, though, are those dew points. There's much drier air that's in place. So, typically we'll see dew points. We've had them in the 50s and 60s, even some 70s down toward Fayette County. So that's very humid tropical air. Now with the front that moved through, those wind arrows, they're moving in from the northeast. So we're getting a much drier air that's filling in behind the cold front that moved in overnight. And that's responsible for this drier air that will make it feel like fall. But that also comes with a cost. And with the ongoing drought that we have, there is a wildfire threat level 1 out of 3. It's considered elevated, but it's for, again, most of Central Texas.
Yeah, you were talking a little bit about that wildfire threat earlier today. What can we expect? We're gonna have a bigger chance of that maybe later throughout this week? I know the cold front brings perfect weather for wildfires, right?
Yeah, excellent question. So there's 2 ingredients that we watch for a wildfire threat. That drier air and gusty winds, so the northeast breeze behind the cold front, gusting up to around 20 to 30 miles per hour through the day today. Winds will calm overnight, but tomorrow, notice it's going to get breezy again during the afternoon. And with the ongoing drought that we have, it's now extreme. So it's that level 3 out of 4. So a significant spread of a ongoing and increasing drought is why we do have that wildfire threat tomorrow. So this is for most, if not all, of Central Texas needs to be on alert in that high risk. That's that tan shading through most of the 15 counties we cover. This is by the Texas A&M Forest Service, and we have burn bans in effect for all 15 counties here.
Yeah, any wildfires actively happening around Texas or in Texas, maybe not in our viewing area?
Yeah, no wildfires. Great news. There was one in Burnett County a few days back, but things are looking right now okay. As meteorologists, we have the Texas A&M Forest Service push notifications. So they'll let us know the second something comes out, it gets named, we get updates. And this is good, right? No news is good news.
Yeah.
It isn't as breezy as we were thinking initially. I mean, these wind speeds, 10 to 15 miles per hour, an occasional gust of up to 20 to 30 miles per hour. If it was like 30 to 40 right, miles per hour, I'd be like, all right, well, now it's probably a very higher extreme fire risk. So it's still definitely a cause for concern, but it's not something that, is going to be like a widespread event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, could see an isolated fire here and there, and we'll have to watch, and hopefully, that gets treated fast.
Well, Tommy, you mentioned that tomorrow we're going to have a little bit of stronger winds. What are some ways or things that our residents can do to make sure we avoid starting any wildfires tomorrow?
Yeah, so, and, with the burn ban, I think it's just no outdoor fires, obviously burning. Just, be mindful of like cigarette butts, things like that. Most of the time it's man-made, and obviously we have no rain to say lightning could cause a fire because it's just, it's been dry. It's been since September 7th since we've had rain. And I'm trying to see if I can pull up here rainfall through the next 7 days. I mean, spoiler alert, we're talking just maybe 10 to 20% Esme. It's not really anything
not looking hopeful
crazy
for us.
Yeah, so these are Rich's numbers. I'll make my adjustments before the 5 o'clock show on KXAN. So this was his forecast this morning. Widely scattered showers Friday, Saturday. Nothing that is like, this is going to be widespread rain in Austin. I think it's 40 days now without rain here in the city. And I'll show you that drought again. I mean, we didn't even have a drought a few weeks back.
We started the summer in such a it was a really bad situation that we were in, but it put us in a great situation for this drought, and now we're back to square one, right?
Back to square one, and October is our second wettest month climatologically, and we haven't had any rain at all. Matter of fact, if I pull up how much rain we've had on the year itself, we have a lot of work to do. 6.56 inches. That's just to get back to normal. For the month, we're 2.14 inches behind. So we really need, obviously we don't want flooding, but we need a good soaking of rain.
Sprinkle here and there.
Yeah, right. Maybe like a quarter of an inch to a half an inch spread out through the next few days, but it doesn't look like it. But at least we got the drier air, the cooler temps. It's not all doom gloom, obviously, right?
Yeah.
No triple digits. Although yesterday was a record high at 97. We could hit a record high tomorrow. I don't think we will, but 90s are back in the forecast.
And what's that record high we might hit tomorrow?
Well, the current record is 97, and I have 94. I had 94 last night. I think Rich has mid-90s too. But I will say something that's pretty cool is tomorrow morning, it's going to feel nice and cool. So look at these low temperatures. You're going to wake up tomorrow to go for your morning jog. We're talking 50s. Computer models yesterday had 40s. So I did a post and I was like, oh, like 40s are possible. It looks like more low 50s, but low 50s, upper 40s, kind of the same thing.
We will take either one.
Right. It's going to be a much more comfortable air. Dew points will be low. Drier air is easier to heat up too, right? So the trade-off is cooler morning, but a more toasty afternoon.
Yeah.
Those winds shift back to the south too.
We're pretty used to that. We wake up to cooler mornings, and then by the time you're at lunchtime, it's scorching hot outside, right?
Scorching hot. It's like, sweater weather in the morning, and then by the afternoon hours, we're talking tank tops and T-shirts.
Yeah. Well, Tommy, we've talked about clouds. We've talked about severe storms. What about tropics? We're still looking at the tropics, right?
Yeah, great question. So the National Hurricane Center has highlighted an area in the Caribbean Sea. It's tagged as an invest, which means this tropical low has a high chance of development, but it's under investigation right now. Hurricane hunters will be flying through this, and it has a 70% chance of development through the next 7 days.
Does it have a name yet?
Not yet, no. It could become a tropical depression, though. Being named is certainly a possibility now, and this environment is conducive for some storm development. We haven't had any storms in this area, so that could lead to a rapidly intensifying possible maybe tropical storm or hurricane through the next few days. Computer models having a really difficult time pinpointing beyond the next 3 to 5 days. It will have that westward track initially, but it will get steered most likely either further southwest or even to the north. I don't think it's going to make impact to the United States for several reasons. One of them, the few cold fronts we've been having will shield away any sort of potential tropical storms. A lot of computer models have this kind of cutting through some Caribbean islands and then moving east parallel to the United States East Coast. We'll have to really watch this closely because we know how quickly things can change. And as I pointed out, these sea surface temperatures are in the 90s and 80s. So it's fuel for a storm like this. And as I go back and show you some of that convection you see where the X is, that is the low pressure system that could become something. My grandmother was in Aruba. She flew out of there a few days ago, but I would say maybe Aruba, a few of these Caribbean islands, and portions of Central America need to be watching this.
Keep an eye on the tropics if you're out traveling or have any travel plans soon.
Right.
You mentioned you don't think it's going to hit the U.S., but
no.
Any possibility for rain sprouts from this storm to us?
Yeah, I mean, anything beyond the National Hurricane Center is just kind of up in the air. Computer models all over the place, right? You'll see an occasional fear-mongering post showing some sort of landfall. Hasn't even formed yet, right? So once it forms, we'll have to look and see what the data has. But don't have any sort of high confidence this is any sort of big impact for the Gulf for now. But crazier things have happened, so we'll have to again watch it closely and then have updates here in KXAN and National Hurricane Center meteorologists that work around the clock just to make sure that we keep this thing locked down.
Yeah, Tommy, to remind our viewers, of course, hurricane season is not over yet. How much time do we have until we hit the end of hurricane season?
Yeah, a few more weeks. I think about 6 or so till the end of November, and then. Beyond that, there's really nothing else to look at in the Atlantic. So this is it right now in the Caribbean. First big Caribbean storm. I know Barry made impact in a similar area, I would say in the Western Caribbean. This is more of the Eastern Caribbean. So we'll have to just, monitor it and keep an eye on it.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing here at KXAN. Tommy, we talked about tropics, we talked about severe storm threats. Anything else that you think could be impacting that surge in travelers that are going to be leaving from the Austin airport due to Circuit of the Americas this week or tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, should be fine beyond the next 24 hours for the Northeast. They get a little bit rocky in the morning tomorrow and late tonight. Could see another low pressure system swing by the Central Plains Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Could bring some heavy rain and storms. A little too far out for the specifics there. So, every 3 to 5 days this time of year, we'll get kind of a big bowling ball trough low pressure system that will bring some sort of snow to the mountains, heavy rain to the plains, maybe some severe weather to the southeast. So just we'll have updates, and I'm sure by next Sunday there'll be something else entirely different we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, it seems like tropics and severe storm threats are our biggest topic for
That's right.
our Tommy's travel forecast lately.
Yeah.
Anything else for you planned this week or the rest of today?
Just hanging out. We'll be on at 5, 9, and 10 tonight, so make sure to watch.
Yes, we have your article, and bear with me, my buttons are not working, so I have to do this manually, but we have that article here on our website, KXAN.com. Tommy, anything specific that our viewers can find in here that we didn't talk about in our stream?
Yeah, just to recap in words, maps, areas to show you, capture clouds and radar there, and then on the tropics. And if you want a little closer to home forecast and you don't care about the Northeast or the tropics, then, of course, we always have that today's forecast too. KXAN.com/weather/ I think today's forecast is that.
Yes, that's right.
So that'll be good. And, you can get your forecast anytime. Our first warning weather app's fantastic too. So you want to make sure you can download that and get all your weather updates as you need.
Yeah, and if you want to rewatch this video or other videos, other KXAN Plus original shows that we have, they are available for streaming on demand on our streaming app, KXAN Plus, and that can be found anywhere you get your streams. It's a completely free app. Roku, Fire TV, Samsung TV, and Apple TV. Please download that. It's called KXAN Plus. Tommy, thanks so much for joining me, and we will see you next Thursday. Or, I'm sorry, next weekend.
Next weekend, next Sunday, we'll be here. Thanks, Esme.